Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. We're going to talk for the rest of this year about agency. A lot of talk about agency lately, and we're just going to hit a few highlights of agency. I'm going to start with buyer's agency. So the first question I want to pose is whether or not it is required in the state of Utah to have, as a real estate licensee, to have a buyer-broker agreement, some sort of agency agreement with your buyer. The answer is, drum roll, yes. Hopefully you remember that. I'm sure that's taught in real estate school, your pre-licensing classes. Yeah, you are required. So then the next question is, when? The rules for a licensee basically say that a licensee shall, for the purpose of defining the scope of the individual's agency, execute a written agency agreement between the client and the licensee. So what does that mean? Well, that means you're setting expectations, right? We've got to just look at this as like a business agreement, right? It's an agency relationship we're creating. We're putting the terms of that relationship into writing and having both parties able to review, negotiate, and sign it, right? And so where it states, where the rule makers in the state of Utah have said, the purpose of this is to define the scope of your agency. So when do you need it signed? Well, I'd say sooner rather than later. Because if you're trying to define the scope of your relationship, but you're going to wait until your relationship's almost over to get it signed, you're defeating the purpose a little bit of that rule, I would think. So I think, yeah, my recommendation would be get those signed as soon as possible and make a moment out of it where you sit down and you talk through the terms of that agreement with a client so they understand. So both parties are clear and their expectations are clear of what it is that we are, the deal we're entering together, because there are terms in that agreement that we'll go over. But yeah, I think I want to start with that. Get those signed sooner rather than later. It is a requirement. It's also a requirement in the Code of Ethics, the Realtor Code of Ethics. So you need to have satisfy both of those. But to alleviate confusion, disappointment in expectations, get that signed as soon as you can at the beginning of that relationship. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.